Attention passionate Philadelphia, EAGLESFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Philadelphia Eagles' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Philadelphia Eagles fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOURFRINDS and Philadelphia EAGLESFANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape lately, you know that the offseason is always full of surprises, moves that can shift the balance of power in divisions, and narratives that can either boost a team's confidence or raise serious questions about their future. And boy, do we have a story for you today that exemplifies how quickly things can turn in the NFL, especially when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles and their recent dealings with players like Bryce Huff. Let's take a journey back a little bit. Remember when Bryce Huff was supposed to be one of those splash signings in the 2024 offseason? The kind of move that the Eagles made to bolster their pass rush, to add a versatile edge rusher who could bring explosiveness and relentless motor to the defensive line? Yeah, that was the plan. The Eagles, coming off a Super Bowl appearance just a year before, were looking to strengthen their defense, and Huff seemed like a perfect fit. He was coming off a breakout season with the New York Jets, where he showcased incredible pressure rates, a knack for getting after the quarterback, and a relentless motor that made him a fan favorite in Florham Park. And let's not forget, when the Eagles signed Huff to a hefty 3-year deal worth over $51 million last offseason, expectations skyrocketed. This was a player who had finished with the second highest pressures in the league in 2023, just behind Micah Parsons, and was showing that he could be a legitimate 3-down edge rusher, capable of playing significant snaps and making an impact on every play. But as always in the NFL, things aren't always what they seem on paper. Fast forward to now and the story has taken a rather surprising turn. Huff's first season with the Eagles was anything but stellar. In fact, it was quite disappointing. He finished with just 5 sacks and 23 pressures in 12 games, and his snap count actually decreased compared to his time with the Jets, dropping to around 39%. His Pro Football Focus pass rush grade plummeted from nearly 90 in 2022 and 2023 to less than 70 last season. Those numbers tell a story that many NFL fans and analysts have been quick to pick up on. Huff, despite the flashy stats in 2023, might not be the 3-down force the Eagles hoped for. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. This week, Huff was notably absent from the Eagles' voluntary OTAs, which in the NFL is always a red flag. Whether it's a sign of a possible injury, a contract dispute, or simply a player taking a stand, the optics are never good when a key player skips voluntary workouts, especially after a season that didn't live up to expectations. For Eagles fans, that absence sparked a lot of chatter. Was Huff phoning it in? Was he already feeling the pressure of his underwhelming season, or was this just a routine rest day? Some fans, unfortunately, jumped to conclusions, accusing Huff of cashing in on a big contract and then not putting in the work. Others started questioning whether Huff was just a product of the Jets' system under Robert Sale, a scheme that perhaps made him look better than he truly is. And honestly, that's not an unfair question to ask when looking at his performance and the stark contrast with his previous seasons. What makes this story even more compelling is how the Jets, after letting Huff go, are now seemingly vindicated. Remember, the Jets decided not to re-sign Huff after his contract expired, despite his impressive 2023 numbers. Their decision was met with some skepticism at the time, especially because Huff had shown flashes of being an elite pass rusher. But the Jets' move was more about fit and long-term strategy than just raw production. They viewed Huff as a situational rusher, a specialist who could come in and give you bursts of pressure but wasn't necessarily built for every down responsibilities. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. His numbers in 2024 with the Eagles have been underwhelming. Just 2.5 sacks, 23 pressures, a drop in snap share, and a declining grade from PFF. Meanwhile, the Jets' young linebacker turned pass rusher, Will McDonald, is coming off a breakout season with 10.5 sacks, showing that the Jets are investing in players who fit their evolving defensive scheme. McDonald, who has added weight and is expected to develop further as a run defender, exemplifies the Jets' shift towards a more versatile, aggressive front seven. Now, some might say, well, Huff can still bounce back, right? It's NFL, players go through ups and downs all the time. But the reality is the early signs aren't promising. The Eagles hoped Huff could be a difference maker, a veteran presence who could add pressure from the edge and complement their existing pass rushers like Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat. Instead, he's become a bit of a question mark. His absence from OTAs, combined with his less-than-stellar production, has fans and analysts alike pondering whether he's lost a step or if he's just not the fit for this new Eagles defense. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The Eagles, under the new coaching staff and defensive coordinator Sean Desai, have been emphasizing versatility and scheme adaptability. They want players who can do more than just rush the passer. They want guys who can drop into coverage, set the edge, and contribute in multiple ways. Huff, whose strengths seem to be purely pass rushing, might not fit that mold anymore, and that could explain why the Eagles are somewhat lukewarm about their investment. In contrast, the Jets are banking on their young talents and scheme fit. McDonald's emergence and the team's focus on developing a more flexible front make Huff's struggles more understandable. Plus, the Jets' defensive philosophy under Sale has always been about creating pressure from multiple angles, and they seem confident in their young pass rushers. They let Huff go because, frankly, his fit in their long-term vision wasn't ideal, especially given his inconsistent performance and the questions about his durability and motor. Now, what does this mean for the Eagles? Well, it's a reminder that NFL roster moves are always a gamble. Signing a player based on one season's flashiness doesn't always translate to sustained success. Sometimes a player's style and the team's scheme just don't align, and what looks like a steal can turn into a cautionary tale. For the Eagles, this might be a lesson in patience and in evaluating players not just by their stats, but by their fit within the overall defensive system. They've already got a talented defensive line with Reddick, Sweat, and Jordan Davis, and adding a versatile linebacker like Nakobe Dean has bolstered their front seven. But the question remains, can Huff rediscover his form in Philly, or will he continue to struggle to find his rhythm and make an impact? And let's not forget, the NFL is a league of adjustments. Players evolve, schemes change, and what doesn't work one season might click in the next. If Huff can hit the reset button, get back to his explosiveness, and adapt to Philly's defensive scheme, there's still hope. But the early signs suggest that both Huff and the Eagles are facing a critical crossroads. Meanwhile, the Jets' decision to let him go, once seen as a risky move, now looks a lot smarter in retrospect. It's a reminder that sometimes in the NFL, moving on from a player at the right time can be the difference between a successful season and a missed opportunity. Looking ahead, it will be fascinating to see how Huff's story unfolds in Philadelphia. Will he be able to turn things around, or is this just a rough patch in what could be a declining phase of his career? The Eagles certainly have the talent and coaching staff to help him, but it's going to require effort, adaptability, and a bit of that relentless motor we all saw in his Jets days. The NFL is all about redemption stories, and maybe Huff's is just beginning again. But one thing is for sure, for Eagles fans, this saga highlights how unpredictable and exciting the league can be, especially when it involves division rivals and the shifting sands of roster construction. So as we stand here watching this story develop, one thing is clear, the NFC East just got a little more interesting. The Eagles are always in the hunt, always trying to improve, and it's these stories of player movement, potential, and what-ifs that keep us glued to the game. We'll see if Huff can turn his season around, if he can prove the doubters wrong, and if the Eagles' front office made the right call in the long run. But for now, fans, buckle up because the NFL offseason never sleeps and the drama in the NFC East is just heating up. Keep your eyes on Philadelphia because we're not done yet. The Eagles have a lot to prove and every move counts in this high-stakes game of football. Stay tuned for more updates and remember, this league is always changing, always evolving, and you, as fans, are at the heart of it all. Thanks for being with us today, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, because your support keeps this community strong and ready for whatever the NFL throws at us next. And now, Philadelphia Eagles fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and the Philadelphia Eagles. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Philadelphia Eagles news.